Welcome again to another edition of Middle-Earth Ranger's Superpowers. Today we're going to be talking about grounding. Now, the definition for grounding might depend on what your perspective is. You might think of it as something that your mother does to you, keep you inside this house after school. You might think of, electrical engineering. Electrons inside of a electrical system want to find the shortest route to a conductive mass. Neither one of these is exactly what I want to discuss here. When I think of grounding, picture yourself on a boat, and your need to fish. Drop a line in the water and catch some fish. But you can't concern yourself with the sails. You can't concern yourself with running the motor. You've got to get your mind off of that. So what you'll do is drop an anchor. And that anchor will go all the way down to the ground, the bottom of the lake or river or ocean, and it'll connect with the ground and keep that anchor, the ship or boat, and stabilize it so that you can concentrate on other things. In a lot of ways, we're talking about mental stability here. I often find myself referring to the Greek mythology, the Greek legends. Inside these myths is sometimes a message that's valuable, wise, and hidden. In this case, I think about the legend of, it's during the siege of Troy in the Iliad, I believe. I think we're talking about Odysseus. There's a giant. His name is Antaeus. For some reason, Odysseus has to go defeat him in a wrestling match. And he sees Antaeus defeating his other men, one after the other. The giant is mighty, intimidating. Odysseus is not sure how he's going to defeat him. But then Athena whispers in Odysseus' ear, as she is often known to do. And she says, "Hey, boy, that Antaeus is the son of Poseidon and Gaia, the Earth Mother, right?" And she says, as long as his feet are in contact with the ground, he has unlimited strength and nobody can defeat him. But if you manage to lift him off the ground a little bit, he'll be as weak as a baby. Go for it, boy. And Odysseus says, yeah, let's try that. And he charges in, puts the giant onto his shoulders, which is a mighty feat of strength in the first place. But as soon as he gets him up there, Antaeus is his man. He can do what he wants to him, and gets Antaeus to surrender, and Odysseus wins the day. So we think of grounding as something physically we get strength from. Unless we're an astronaut in space, we're standing on the ground. Martial arts terms, if I'm throwing a right cross, boom, it's not the arm. I'm driving from the leg, and the leg is pushing against the ground. If that ground is not there, if I'm wearing ice skates, for instance, I'll push myself backwards as much as anything else. So I got to be grounded physically. And it's also a mental, and it's also a psychic phenomenon. Now many people are already grounded, some are not. And some people really need to go through a grounding meditation in order to be comfortable and physically useful. Other people are already born grounded. They always have that sense of rootedness. This is just whether you need it or not, and it's something to note and so that you can teach others if they need it. It's not a meditation as such. It's a visualization. And it's mystical in that a lot of the concepts are visualization. Nothing in science can show you what's going on there. It's really a subjective experience, which is why I'm calling it mystical. So why don't we start by sitting down, feet flat on the ground, eyes open. You're not meditating where you're zoning out the world around you. You're still conscious and aware. I normally place my hands palms up on my lap, not for any particular mystical reason, but to signal my body, my mind, my spirit that I'm going into a certain state of mind. I put my imagination in touch with the base of my spine. In some traditions, this is called the base chakra. But we're not going into that. Just think of the base of your spine as a place to imagine and visualize and get that in your mind. And also now you're going to also imagine the location of the center of the earth. Whatever that means to you, wherever that locates to you, put your imagination there, visualize that strongly in your mind. And while holding both of those locations in your mind, connect them both with a long golden cord. This is going to be your grounding cord. This is connecting the base of your spine with the center of the earth. And make sure those are both securely attached. And now, technically speaking, you're grounded. You're right there. You're secure in the part of the earth. The next step is concerning energy. Now, we're talking about psychic energy, of course, and obviously it's going to be a mystical term. Think of how you might have picked up energy from other people, other things, other situations, and how they might be sticking to you or hovering around you. Imagine that. Let your being get in touch with that possibility. You know they're not your energy because they don't feel good to you. And just as an electron in an electrical system getting connected to ground, and now, hey, we are talking about electrical engineering, these energies that don't belong to you naturally want to go down into this grounding cord to the center of the earth where they will find their rightful place. So what you're going to do is just in your imagination invite these energies to go down the grounding cord. Just let that happen in your imagination. And some people at this point feel a little bit drained because they're missing some energy. Even though it's not their energy, it's still missing. The next step is to return and remember that you've given away your energy to other people, other situations, other things, other places. And it's time to call that back. And so the next step is you visualize a golden beach ball above your head. Imagine that up there. And imagine it filling up automatically with all the energy that you've given away, of your energy that you've given away to different people, different things, different situations. The energy has done its job. It's time for it to come back to its rightful place so it can use it again. So let it fill up that beach ball, that golden beach ball. And once you feel that it's done enough filling up, go ahead and reach up and hold that beach ball. And this time you might feel a little warmness and tingling, especially as you draw it down over your head. And let your energy refill your body and your spirit here. And it's okay to just sit here for a few minutes, a few moments, however long a moment is, and let this experience ground and center you some people at this point feel a little overwhelmed, and sometimes they fall down to a position like this. You can use this visualization, meditation to as a daily thing to ground and center yourself, especially if you're sort of person that's sort of emotionally knocked around a little bit, and it'll help you find your balance, find your center, so on. And if you're in a stressful situation where you are being knocked around a little bit, and it's time to get back in touch with what's real, this can be a little escape, little maintenance ritual for your spirit. So that is a grounding ritual that I've learned. I'm sure that other people, any of you, might have had your own grounding rituals. You learned it from someone else, or came up with something on your own. I'd be interested in seeing what you have. Share with us what you might think. Try this out and see what you think of it. See if it works for you. If you have any adjustments or any questions, I'd be interested in hearing it. But anyway, as always, thank you, and thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you do, give me a thumbs up. It really helps. And if you find somebody who might enjoy learning this, go ahead and share it on the internet with anybody you like. I'm continue coming back. I'm working on a couple more things in the near future, and I'm open to suggestions for other superpowers that we can explore. And finally, I hope this has benefited as many people as possible out there. And thank you for watching.